Hi everyone! Welcome to the next issue of the PUBG Mobile devlog. I'm your new friend, Ray. Version 1.8 has been released recently, and I believe you've already tried out the many new gameplay and features of version 1.8. In today's devlog, I'll tell you the story behind the new gameplay. Let's start with our new mode on Livik, Aftermath Livik. I think many of our players have played the beta version of Livik. We've been constantly tweaking Livik to make improvements to release the official version sooner for everyone to play. In fact, we've come up with many new ideas while tweaking the gameplay. We want to give this map even more features to cater to even more players. But on the other hand, because of how much everyone loved the beta version of Livik, we don't want to make any massive changes. In the end, Rick, our producer, made up his mind. Since we have so many wonderful ideas for Livik, why don't we improve the original beta version and create a new Livik map at the same time? That sounds great! With Rick's support, we created a new Livik map, which is the Aftermath Livik map that is being released this time. Some players might ask why we specially created an Aftermath Livik map. Or they may ask about what makes it different from the previous Livik map. As members of the dev team, we've always paid close attention to our players' feedback about the game and their experiences, and have tweaked and improved the game based on the feedback we receive. Many players who are familiar with Battle Royale games have told us that it takes at least 20 minutes to complete a match in Erangel, Sandhawk, or Miramar in Classic mode, which means they need a larger chunk of uninterrupted time to play a match. In other words, they can't play matches when their free time is split up. Moreover, they need to stay focused, looking at everything and listening to everything during this time. Although winning gives them a great sense of achievement, they need to have enough time and attention, as well as a suitable gaming environment. For example, it isn't really possible to play a match on a bumpy bus because your aiming will be affected. Or, if you're playing in a very noisy environment, your ability to judge where sounds are coming from will be affected. For beginners who have just started playing Battle Royale games, there are some hurdles to overcome to master Classic mode. If we are to tweak a small map like Livik, why don't we make the matches shorter and less stressful, and make Livik playable in all environments? When we were discussing Livik, our producer, Rick, said, we should give players another Battle Royale option other than Classic mode. We should make a Battle Royale mode that has a faster pace, is less stressful, and can be played in even more environments. In this way, players can choose Classic mode if they have a larger chunk of free time, enjoy challenges, and want a deeper shooting and tactical experience. And can challenge this new mode if they don't have much time at hand or just want to play a quick match, added Rick. Yes! In fact, this map would also be pretty suitable for beginners or those at a low or medium tier, as it'll help them transition to other modes. This way, they can become familiar with the gameplay and become more skilled in a less stressful environment, added Juja from the dev team. We created the Aftermath Livik map with this purpose in mind. Compared with a traditional Battle Royale mode that requires a lot of time and attention, we want to give players another option, a faster-paced and less stressful mode that gives players a light Battle Royale experience. At the same time, players who are familiar with Battle Royale games will also be able to play matches quickly in a short time. More importantly, we hope that Aftermath Livik will help players become more familiar with Battle Royale games and become more skilled. Well, what makes matches played in Aftermath Livik faster-paced and less stressful? Allowing players to have a Battle Royale experience anytime and anywhere. We mainly tweaked the terrain, firearms, and in-match mechanics. A flatter and more open terrain makes it easier to see targets. Firstly, Livik is a 2x2 map. Sandhawk is 4 times as large as Livik, and Erangel is 16 times as large as Livik. Matches that are played on the smallest map will also finish the fastest. Meanwhile, players will still be able to easily find supplies and plan their advance route. This gives players who are at low or medium tiers in matches a purpose and direction, and prevents them from getting lost in an overly large map. At the same time, we have made great changes to the terrain of Livik to make battles faster and make it easier for players to spot targets. We've made lots of adjustments to the terrain of Livik. Livik's terrain has changed greatly due to the bombardment of airstrikes and volcanic eruptions. The extensive bombardment has destroyed rock formations and hills, making the originally undulating terrain flatter and more open. Many buildings have also been destroyed, making the urban area more sparse. Moreover, the volcanic eruptions have destroyed the vegetation of the map, making the densely scattered vegetation low and sparse. After the destruction, the terrain, buildings, and vegetation that can be used as cover on Livik have been greatly reduced. It is now easier to spot all targets, which means there will also be fewer campers, players who like to hide and ambush other players, on this map. The sparse cover and open terrain make it difficult for players to hide. We hope to shorten matches by making it easier for players to find enemies sooner and accelerating the pace of battles, said Jung Tao from the dev team. The AC Core module makes firearms easier to control. To make shooting easier, we mainly consider two scenarios that players might experience. The first scenario is the one many players have told us about. That is, it is difficult to control firearms accurately in crowded and bumpy places, such as on a bus. The second scenario applies to new players who are still unfamiliar with basic firearm controls and movement in battles, and want a good mechanic to guide them and help them make the transition. With this in mind, we have added more equipment to provide players with combat aid in Aftermath Livik. In Aftermath Livik, the Survivor team will have various new equipment to help them fight in the new environment. First, the Survivor team has modified firearms internally and upgraded them with new aiming equipment to make it easier to aim and control firearms. The internal modifications have greatly reduced the recoil of firearms, making it easy to keep the barrel down. At the same time, the new sight gives players more battle information, such as the distance from the target and the damage dealt by the current attack. On the other hand, the damage from firearms has been reduced due to these changes. This prevents players from being eliminated in one shot, allowing players to experience the game for longer. We want our seasoned players to be able to continue having fun in Battle Royale matches in even more scenarios with these new changes. We also want beginners to be able to familiarize themselves with the shooting mechanics of this game in combat situations and experiment with different ways of shooting and moving, said Zhuja from the dev team. Of course, ultimately, we want to see players playing matches in classic mode maps to test themselves after improving their marksmanship. Many players have also told us that they have had difficulty in using the footstep sounds to tell the whereabouts of players when they are in a noisy environment, said Jung Tao from the dev team. In response to this, we have made the radar more sensitive in Aftermath Livik to more accurately indicate the direction of attacking players, which reduces players' reliance on the footstep sounds. We added a recall mechanic to prevent matches from being too short, and a movement mechanic to make it easier to reach the play zone. It can be quite depressing to be eliminated immediately after getting knocked down. In response to this, we've added the permanent recall tower mechanic to Livik. What this means is that players will go to a special area after they are defeated, instead of being eliminated immediately. Their teammates who haven't been defeated will be able to use the recall tower to recall them to the battlefield. To make matches shorter and make battles more relaxed, we also needed to think of a way to help players move around quickly. To do this, we added a zipline to Livik to allow players to move a long distance quickly. If you look closely, you'll see many zipline platforms distributed throughout the map. When players approach a zipline platform, they'll be able to attach themselves to the zipline and move to the zipline platform on the other end. This allows players to move quickly through the map. In this way, players have a chance of survival even if they are quite far from the play zone in the late stage of the game, said Zhuja. Shops will also appear at fixed locations in Aftermath Livik. Players can pick up the tokens that are scattered throughout the battlefield and use them to purchase supplies and tactical items in the shop inside the buildings to arm themselves and win the final victory. To sum up, although it looks like Aftermath Livic matches are less stressful and faster paced, our intention is for this mode to supplement PUBG Mobile's Classic mode, and not to change the positioning of our product. We want players to be able to play Battle Royale matches even when they have small fragmented chunks of time or are in a noisy or crowded environment. At the same time, we also want to provide beginners with a training platform where they can start by familiarizing themselves with the rules and controls of the game in a more relaxed environment before challenging themselves with higher levels of difficulty, said Rick. Of course, apart from this new Aftermath Livic map, the Battle Royale experience of Classic mode is something we have always cared about. Anti-cheating measures, new elements, and game balancing are all aspects we invest a lot of resources into. We always follow communities and interact with players to collect players' views to keep improving the game. In version 1.8, we have implemented some adjustments based on what players have told us. Firstly, we have added new unranked modes. We have noticed that many players want to be able to play Classic mode without affecting their rating points. In some situations, some players want to be able to play the game leisurely to enjoy the experience without affecting their rating points. So, in version 1.8, we are making it possible for players to choose whether they want to play matches in ranked mode or unranked mode. The results of matches played in unranked mode won't affect players' rating points. If you want to play a match casually or try out different tactics, then you'll want to play matches in unranked mode. We're also testing some innovative gameplay by adding them to unranked modes. These attempts will give players a new gaming experience, and you can try the new gameplay without worrying about affecting your rating points. We will only consider adding this type of new gameplay to Classic mode after we test them sufficiently and get enough feedback from players. In summary, you can play matches in unranked mode to have a more relaxing and fun Battle Royale experience. The Battle Royale experience of Classic mode has always been a core part of PUBG Mobile, and it is one of the most important parts of our work. We have always been adding new items, mechanics, and gameplay elements to our Classic mode Battle Royale gameplay to keep the experience fresh and exciting for players. In version 1.8, we have also made a series of innovations to the Classic mode gameplay. Among these innovations, we mainly focused on two major aspects: providing a better game experience and providing new game elements. We have always wanted to give our players the most realistic Battle Royale combat experience, so we have further improved the graphics of the combat environment. For example, we have increased the realism of the game, such as by making the water in the ocean transition from shallow to deep, and by making ripples appear on the water's surface under the sun. Of course, other than graphical improvements, our main focus is the improvement of players' gaming experience. In forums, we often see players discuss the balance of firearms. After repeated testing and collecting the feedback of players, we've decided to make some balancing adjustments to some firearms in version 1.8. We hope these adjustments will give our players a better experience of the game. In addition, we hope to add new content and mechanics to the original Battle Royale gameplay to keep the gaming experience novel. Some content will help players play the game more smoothly. For example, we have improved the jump phase and the hit mark feature. These features will help players master the game sooner, improve the interaction and teamwork between teammates, and make battles smoother. On the other hand, we have added the new shot mechanic and near-death swimming feature of the PC version of PUBG Mobile to give players more diverse gaming experiences in our classic Battle Royale gameplay. We are still developing more new gameplay mechanics for Classic mode. Stay tuned for the upcoming versions of PUBG Mobile. Finally, regarding security, which everyone cares about the most, our goal has always been to create a green, fair, and healthy gaming environment for all our players in PUBG Mobile. In version 1.8, we have upgraded the ban-pan system to create a more secure gaming environment and step up anti-cheating measures. First, we added the merit system, because we want players' actions to be reflected by their merit. The system will deduct your merit if it detects you've done anything to harm the system, your teammates, or other players. When players' merit is too low, they will be placed under safety observation and won't be able to find a match normally. Conversely, players who regularly maintain a high merit score will be rewarded accordingly. We hope that this mechanic will help players follow the rules to uphold an inclusive, well-mannered game environment. The safety observation feature will greatly limit the matchmaking of cheating players, or players who are suspected of cheating. It will also protect ordinary players from being affected by cheating players. At the same time, we have also overhauled the cheating reporting system and the security center in version 1.8. The new system will help players identify and report cheating players. I'm so happy to have this opportunity to share the stories behind the changes made in version 1.8 with everyone today. Our time is almost up for today. If you're interested in learning more about PUBG Mobile, please follow our official community channel. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.